This is the plaintiff, Kira Gatling. She says she and her boyfriend rented a 2-bedroom apartment from the defendant, and boy, was that a mistake. She was abruptly served eviction papers after she complained about possible lead in the apartment. And she's here in the name of what's right, suing for the $10,100 she surely owed. This is the defendant, Shirley Peretz. She says she got a bunch of excessive noise complaints from the other tenants in the building, complaining about the loud, unruly plaintiff and her kids. So she told her she had to leave. After she left, she contacted an attorney who started complaining about a lead certificate. And here they are. She's accused of being terrible to her tenants. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $4,147 for all. She's out.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says that she is the victim of retaliation. She complained to the landlord that there might be lead in the paint on the walls and got evicted as a result. But the defendant says the woman was loud, her kids were unruly, and she had no right to break her lease. It's the case of premature eviction.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Gatlin, you are suing your former landlord, Shirley Peretz, for $10,100 in damages. According to you, she's keeping your security deposit, so you're asking for double that. But then you're suing for $2,190 again after that, so you've lost me. Are you trying to get your security deposit back 3 times?
Oh, no, not at all. So Miss Peretz, she knowingly took an additional security deposit, which is illegal. In Philadelphia, you're not allowed to take 2 security deposits.
I'm still trying to figure out what you're asking for, because in your first line of what you're asking for is $2,190 twice. You see, so you're already asking for double $2,190. Then you're asking for another $2,190, but wasn't that $2,190 already taken care of in your first request?
I see.
Okay.
So in
All right, no, let's not spend another second on it. Let's, let me talk about attorney's fees. You ended up having to pay an attorney $1,625. So you're trying to recoup that now, correct?
That is correct.
But didn't the settlement that you arrived at in landlord-tenant court say everybody ate their own attorney's fees?
To be honest, I am not sure about that.
I am. All right. And then the $3,000 is for emotional distress. Tell me about that.
Oh, yes. Miss Peretz, she threatened to, I have twin toddlers at the time. They were 2.5, and I had a 5-year-old. When I was shown the apartment in July, there was carpet in the apartment. However, when we moved in, there was not carpet. And that was one of the requirements for when I was moving, because I'm aware that I have 3 kids and toddlers have clumpy feet. So within a month, we started receiving a lot of phone calls and complaints from Ms. Peretz about the noise that our children were making. And we were also faced with eviction threats if we don't contain the noise. So that's.
And what were they complaining about? The pitter patter of their feet or the yelling?
So they were complaining about everything.
And who's they? The people who lived underneath you?
It's the people that lived underneath me, and then also right next to us, because it's like a duplex. It's an older building.
Okay. Yeah. How long did you live there?
I lived there from August 1st to January 30th of 2020.
Okay. But why would you be entitled to $3,000 in emotional distress? Tell me how she emotionally distressed you.
Sure. There was a lot of anxiety. The anxiety coming from her ignoring my complaints about the downstairs neighbor's son banging on so it was his ceiling, our ground, almost every morning, yelling profanities at my children. So all of that went ignored.
But it wasn't, why does she have to pay you $3,000 when you've told me yourself that all of the neighbors were complaining? That's not, like, she would prefer the neighbors didn't complain. How is it, how does she have to pay you $3,000 because she had to keep telling you about the neighbors' complaints?
My children, they have the right to be children. Also, they're toddlers and they have naturally clumpy feet. And also there were instances where I received harassing texts from her, and these were very condescending texts.
Like what?
Referring to. So this is a text sent on December 5th. It's the same day that she sent us the notice to vacate. And this is a It's a charge from my ex-boyfriend. It has nothing to do with me, but it was domestic. And she sends a screenshot, and then she says, I can certainly understand why you and your children are scared of him. I can also see that I made a mistake trying to be nice to you.
So she sends you a text, and she's screenshot something from somewhere that says that your former boyfriend has been charged with simple assault, recklessly endangering another person, harassment, and endangering the welfare of a child. He pistol whipped a victim who suffered lacerations following a heated custody exchange. Okay, I have some very distinct ideas of who that victim was.
It actually wasn't me.
Everything that you're saying is stuff that could have, should have, and probably was brought up in court, because your court was on January 15th of 2020. So, if you, these are all things that the judge accounted for, and then there's a settlement in court. So let me ask you a question. What you've got on that side still is 2190, which you feel she has held on to too much of, right?
That is correct.
That's really what your lawsuit is, that you want your security deposit back. Now, let's understand, Ms. Peretz, let's talk to you now about your counterclaim. You have $21.90 of her dollars, and you're suing for an additional $41.47? What are you doing?
It's really supposed to be for attorney fees and February rent, because I sued for ongoing rent.
Okay, why would she owe you February rent when she got out at the end of January, which is what was envisioned by the settlement?
The property was damaged, and I had to repair it. So I lost out on February rent.
Well, let's talk about the damages. Tell me the damages to the apartment that you felt kept you from re-renting it. Go ahead.
Kira moved in the beginning of August. In September, I was away on a business trip, and I received a call from her letting me know that her and Raekwon had had a domestic dispute, and he had kicked in the front door, but that she didn't want me to be concerned, that she would get it repaired and take care of it.
So do you have pictures of the front door, and what was the problem?
I submitted those pictures.
You did, but the only picture I have of the front door, I'm going to put up now on the screen.
Yeah. It was after it was partially repaired already.
Okay, but it doesn't show a front door that's broken.
That is the front door.
Yeah. Where is the door broken?
See the frame? The whole frame had to be replaced.
Yes, I see a frame that has to be replaced. I don't see a door that has to be replaced. You sent a letter to her saying you were keeping $500 for that. Today in your lawsuit, you're asking for $1,020 for that. You can see where maybe I'm a little suspicious that you're angry that you had to take her to court. So I need to be extra sure that what your damages are, because you have so much reason to be angry about the way things went. And if the only picture you show me of the front door shows that you need a molding, how on God's green earth do you think I'm going to award you $1,250? I need to see the damaged door.
Unfortunately, I took that picture after the door was replaced.
Okay. Do you have a receipt for the replacement of the door?
I don't have that receipt with me.
What happened to the door, Ms. Gaitlin?
Yes, we had a disagreement, and I locked the door. He broke the door. I was not happy about it.
So what was broken? Exactly what did he break?
He broke the panel of the door, so the interior left panel.
So when you say panel, you're referring to this picture? Take a look at the picture.
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Did he break the lock?
He did not break the lock.
Did he break the actual door, the thing that opens and closes? Did he punch a hole through it or anything like that?
No, he did not, Your Honor.
Okay. You're asking for attorney's fees, but what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Your settlement agreement says everybody's eating their own attorney's fees, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so you can't get attorney's fees. Repainting living room walls. Did you submit pictures about why you had to repaint the living room walls? No.
They hadn't.
You have a picture of the blinds in the living room, and you have a picture of the blinds in the bedroom. Certainly those two things should be compensated for. Now let's talk about the TV mount, the removal of the TV mount. You actually don't contest that. And the amount for the living room closet, Ms. Gatlin, you also don't contest. Okay, we have $245 that you're charging for repainting the living room walls. According to you, Ms. Gatlin, she didn't have to repaint the living room walls. And according to you, Ms. Peretz, why did you have to repaint them?
It was just the one, not all of the walls, just the one wall where the TV mount was.
Okay. I'm going to allow $150 for the molding that needs to be replaced on the front door. I'm going to allow the entire $245 for repainting the wall with the mount. I'm going to allow $125, which is what you claim you paid, even though you have no receipts. That doesn't sound like an unreasonable amount for the TV mount, and in particular because in the plaintiff's complaint, she says she doesn't contest that. I'm going to allow $107 for the blinds and $170 for the closet door. That totals $797. That does not total $2,190. That means that the plaintiff is owed $1,393 in the security deposit back. So then the issue is, you have thrown in another $1,095 for February rent because the damages were so extensive you couldn't rent the place out. However, all you really had to do was remove the TV mount, replace 3 blinds, and paint the living room. And that should not have caused you to lose February's rent. So you don't get February rent. All right, where did you get the idea that she could not charge you 2 months' rent as a security deposit?
Yes. So first I contacted a free tenant union representative network, and that's where I was first because I was unknowing of this law.
Some states allow you to get 2 full months of rent as security. Some states limit you to 1.5. Some states on the second year of a lease make you give back a little security. There's all kinds of stuff. I don't know what current, and that stuff changes. So you want to stay current on that. It doesn't matter for my purposes because what I've got to determine, all right, is how much you're supposed to get back. I know you have $2,190 there. I know that I have found that there's $797 worth of damage, so I know how to do the math. So based on everything I've gone over, I am ordering the defendant to give the plaintiff $1,393, and that now shall conclude the saga of your lives. There should not be a, son of King Kong 3, okay? Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
Let's see how the defendant feels about this, Ms. Peretz. The judge did a lot of math, a lot of figuring. What do you think about the outcome?
I think the judge was very fair. I should have had the credit card receipts, for my contractor for the work that he did. So I certainly do understand her taking that into consideration. So in lieu of the evidence that was presented, I think she was very fair. I think that Kira Gatling is an opportunist and was just trying to kind of squeeze out whatever she could, and the judge saw through that, and I'm grateful for that.
All right, Ms. Gatling, let me ask you for your impression of the outcome.
Sure. I am happy for that amount just to have all of this over with. The amount of harassment that myself and my children have had to endure from Ms. Peretz has just been a nightmare, to say the least. So I am satisfied. I think that the judge was very fair, and I have nothing else to say. I'm happy that it's over.
All right. You got out at the end of January. How about where you're living now? Are things better where you are now?
Oh, yes. Things are a lot better now. Thank you.
Well, good. Congratulations.
Doug, there is such a thing called retaliatory eviction. But that means that, for example, if you call the building department because the landlord has done something that breaks the law, and then the landlord retaliates against you, that's one thing. That is not what happened here. And that's why the plaintiff didn't prove the case.
What makes you laugh the most, if you had to pick something?
Well, I've seen every episode of The Office like 6 times, probably.
It's a total addiction at our
Yeah,
house.
it's like
We
basically
watch it over and over and over because it's
Steve
hilarious.
Carell definitely makes me laugh. John Mulaney makes me laugh. You make me laugh
Right.
on a day-to-day basis, which is nice. That's a nice way to go through life.
Yeah, I've always thought.
Sarcasm makes me laugh.
Yes, definitely.
My litigants make me laugh.
Your job makes you laugh. Let's face it.
This job makes me laugh.
Which is great because when I was a judge, there weren't that many laughs on the bench. You know?
It's
and
a
as a prosecutor, there weren't that many laughs. So when you got home, that's the one thing you really wanted to do, right? Sit down, we watch The Office, all
South Park
7
makes me laugh.
seasons. We watch South Park a lot. And I'm with you. Steve Carell, he's got to be the funniest man alive.